Hey guys, how you doing? It's Zoe, and today I'm going to be talking about my very first boyfriend ever. Upon his request, mind you. But before we do that, do you like my hat? It's a 21 Pilots hat, and I really like it. And it's got the freaking skeleton thing on it. It doesn't have the alien, which pisses me off, but whatever. It's whatever. Okay, so before we actually get into the my first boyfriend part of the story, I wanted to talk about a previous incident that had to deal with my previous boyfriend. I'm not even going to call him boyfriend. We weren't really, he wasn't a real boyfriend. Like, it was just one of those things like, oh my gosh, I like you, oh my gosh, I like you too, we should date, blah, 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 whatever makeshift little relationship you have there. I will not be using any names of the people in here. My boyfriend at the time, who I'm still friends with now to this day, said that he would not like me to use his name. So I'm just going to use William for his name, and then my previous boyfriend will just not be named. He'll just be called previous boyfriend. But I will only be talking about him for this little first part of this entire video. Alright, so me and previous boyfriend met in 5th grade. And that was how we became friends. We were always partnered for the different projects, like it was this thing, and we were always like together all the freaking time. And then basically he was like, hey, I like you, and I was like, hey, I like you too. And then he was like, maybe we should secretly date, and I was like, okay, and that's how that basically happened. Now this little relationship we had here lasted for a year, only because we didn't do anything. There was no way to break up. Literally, like, there was nothing. Like, after he moved schools, first of all. So, I was going to, because it was in 5th grade, so we were graduating from elementary school, going to middle school. And I was going to a completely different middle school than he was. I didn't have his number. I gave him my number, but he had lost it. And he had, like, lost, like, a phone, and he didn't really have a phone. And there was literally no way we could keep in touch with each other at all. However, my brother went to the school that this previous boyfriend moved to. So I got a little idea. Keep in mind, this was before, well, I knew my boyfriend, well, I knew my actual boyfriend, William. I knew William, I just wasn't dating him at that time. I still knew him, we had still met, we just weren't really that close yet. So, I knew he existed. All that. So, basically, I was like, okay, I'm gonna write this little tiny, cringy, cheesy little letter saying that, hey, previous boyfriend, we should probably break up, because we're not doing anything. Plus, I mean, you're at a whole different school, and it's gonna be kinda hard, blah, 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 blah. And I gave this note specifically to my brother to give to this previous boyfriend because they went to the same schools. So I give the note to my brother, and he's like, okay, I'll give it to him. And I'm like, okay, good. When do you actually see him? Like, I was like making sure you need to give this to him. Make sure you give this to him. He was like, I will, don't worry, you can trust me, blah, 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 basically. So then, I'm like, I go back to my dad's house, because he was at my dad's house, my brother lives at my dad's house, and he's like, okay, so I gave the note to him. I mean, he didn't read it right in front of me, but I gave it to him, and then he was, like, sad or whatever, blah, making this whole story up, saying that, like, hey, he read the letter, he was sad, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you can tell by my tone of voice throughout this whole entire first part of the story, but that note didn't end up getting to him. I just wanted to let you guys know that. So it's like a month or two down the line. I can't remember if I was actually close to William now. I don't really remember when this actually happened, but I know it was a good time after I gave the note to him. It was before me and William started dating. I just didn't know if it was before we were actually close. But basically, I get a call, or I didn't get it, my house got it, and then I wasn't there to get it, but my uncle got it. And then he said, yeah, some dude named previous boyfriend called. And I was like, uh-oh, that's probably not good. So I call it back, and it is, in fact, previous boyfriend. He's calling. He goes, "Hey, Zoey, I found your number. Now we can actually talk and act like an actual couple." I'm like, I'm sorry? He's like, "Yeah, I lost your number, but I found it now, and we can actually talk to each other now, and we can actually act like a real couple and all this stuff like that." And I'm like, so, have you seen my brother at all this whole year? This is literally a live reenactment of how this conversation over the phone went down. So he just told me that he found my number, we can actually act like a couple now. And I go, so have you seen my brother at all throughout the years, throughout this school year? Yeah, I've seen him a couple times, but not recently, no. Why? So, he didn't give you anything of any kind. Is that what you told me? Yeah? Was he supposed to? I'm confused. Well, I'm fuming. I'm so freaking mad right now. I literally had to break up with him over the phone. I had to explain the whole situation. I literally had to break up with him over the phone. And I kid you not, this is exactly what he did. I said, so, we're gonna have to break up. I'm really sorry. I kid you not. He goes, okay, bye. And hangs up the phone. I was like, oh no. I swear, I had no other choice. Let's just say I went back to my dad's and I was not happy with my brother. I threatened to shave his head. I threatened to shave his head in his sleep. I threatened to do so many things to him. I was like, listen, you can't just do that. Do you know? I like literally punched him in the face. I was like so mad. So basically, yeah, that's how that went down. So let's actually get to the boyfriend part of the story now. So after that whole thing happened, me and William, we were tight buds. We're like so tight. So basically, this is how it basically went down. So we had, by the way, we had one class together our entire middle school ages. We had the one English class in 6th grade, and then in 7th grade and 8th grade, we had no classes together. Literally, it all went down in the 6th grade English class. So, basically, my teacher, about said her name, she has, I can't remember what exactly the seating arrangement was before, but it was some, I think it was like rows or like 2 or some like cliche crap like that. But basically, she rearranged the seats to make this like U shape, and then you had like 6 or 7 desks in the middle of the U. And obviously the U was open facing toward her, so she can walk in between and walk around, like all the stuff like that, basically. So, William was originally sitting in the front 6 desk that I remember. He might not have been, but I don't know. I probably remember better than he does. But, so, I'm sitting, like, if you're the teacher right now, you know, like, if you're facing the freaking thing, I'm on the left side to the teacher. I'm in the left corner, and I'm sitting by my 4th grade bully, and I was like, ain't happening. I'm sorry. Of course, I had social anxiety, so I wasn't gonna be like, can I move? I wasn't gonna do that, obviously. But luckily, another girl on the literally other side of the U said, hi, yes, I can't sit by him because he annoys me talking to whatever, I don't know. And then she goes, okay, well, where would you like to sit? And then but before she said that, she was like, is anyone else unhappy with their seating arrangement? And I raised my hand. She said, oh, you're unhappy? I was like, yeah. And then she was like, okay, you, the girl, she said, would you like to sit there? And then she was like, sure, yeah. And then I can't remember how exactly. I think she just moved me randomly up to the front. Instead of like just having a switch, I think she just moved me to the front. But she was like, you can sit up here next to Liam. I was like, okay. So I sat up him. And then we basically talk about like anything. We basically bond over like everything. And then basically by the end of 6th grade, I ended up asking him out. Yes, that's right. I asked him out. Basically, I did one of those uh, cringy little note in the locker, like, will you go out with me? Check mark yes, check mark no, like, whatever, crap like that. And then he basically ended up checking yes and happy ending. I think that was the last regular Friday of the school year, because you had like the regular weeks, and I think the last week or the last couple weeks were testing, and then the last Friday of the year was the early release day. But I remember being on a Friday, and then I remember it being like an actual school day, so it was the last regular Friday, but we had school after that. So basically, we go back to school, and I know it was on Friday. I know it was on Friday because I remember being gone for like, everyone was gone for like a week, like a weekend, basically. So I know it was at the end of the week, and everyone was excited because it was Friday and all this stuff like that. So basically, within the first like half hour of the school day, or like within the first half hour of not even like, not the school day hasn't even started yet. It's getting ready to start. Classes haven't started. Like the first 20 minutes to half hour of the entire school day, almost everybody already knows, basically. I don't know how. But basically that happened, and then I remember going to second period, and it was so awkward. Like, I was sitting in my seat, and then he was sitting in his seat beside me. And then there's this one girl, and she's sitting next to us, and everyone in the row is just like staring at us. And then there's like the you, and people are like kind of looking at us and like looking at other people, like they're talking, like, are they actually dating? Like, oh, they're so cute, whatever. And this girl next to me, she's kind of looking over at us. I see her looking at me. She's looking at me and then looking at Alan and then looking at me. And then she goes, are y'all dating? Like that. She literally like leans forward and is like, are you guys dating? And then we're like, yeah. She goes, cool. What? She's just like, and then she just goes back paying attention. It's like nothing happened. And it was so weird. But yeah, and that's it. And then, but we were together for 2 years, yeah, because we ended up breaking up the summer after 8th grade, before 9th grade. So yeah, we were together for like a good solid 2 years. But the thing is, we didn't break up because of a fight. In fact, we never actually got in fights. Like, we never fought at all. Like, our fighting was like debates about like worldly issues and like the mind and stuff like that. Random crap like that, because we were both geeks. And we didn't have anything mean to say about each other. Like, honestly, we loved each other. And like, I still love him to this day. I mean, he's such a nice guy, and he's amazing. Like, he's my best guy friend ever. It's like, love you, bro. But, like, whatever. But, anyway, so we never actually fought. We just got in, like, mind debates about the human brain and all that stuff. Like, I remember we got in a huge debate about, like, memory and how it's, like, stored and stuff like that. And it was so weird. So, we actually ended up breaking up because I had completely lost all feeling. I had no feelings for him anymore. I don't know why. I think it was just because like we weren't really talking that much. I mean, I don't know if it was the fact that he was going to a different, because I still going and he's still, but I go to the traditional high school of the town, and then he goes to like the college. He's like, it's like a middle college where like it's still a high school, but it's like college courses. I don't know, he can probably explain it better than I can, but whatever. So yeah, so he goes through, I think it was maybe a little bit of that, and also just the fact that we hadn't really talked to each other in a little bit. Like, we were growing apart from each other anyway. And then I ended up just losing all feeling, and I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? And then basically we ended up breaking up like that night, and it was like crazy. But people were always like so freaking astonished that we were together for 2 years, and they're like, oh my gosh, how are you guys together for 2 years? I'm like, because we didn't do crap. Like, we really didn't. Like, we slowly progressed in our relationship. We didn't have our first kiss until like a year after we started dating. He didn't put his arm around me until like a good 6 months after we were dating. And I'm not saying that to be mean. We were both each other's first boyfriend / girlfriends. So we were scared, like we didn't really know, and then plus we were like comfortable. I mean, nothing was really happening. Like we were cool with each other, but yeah, we didn't really do anything. Like we didn't have our first kiss until like a year after we had been dating, and I don't know. My bangs are just messed up now. But yeah, so that's basically the story of my first boyfriend. We're still friends now. He's like my best guy friend ever. I don't know. But yeah. And I remember I think the day we got back and when everyone was staring at us, there was a girl on the very like far end, and she was actually the one that actually got me the courage to ask William out in the first place. She was like, oh, you like William, don't you? I was like, yeah, kinda. He was like, and then she was like, he definitely probably likes you back. I'm telling you, he probably does. And I'm like, okay. And then she's like, you should ask him out. I'm like, I was thinking about it, but I don't really know. And then she basically encouraged me to do it. But she sat on the end, and then she passed down a note to give to me, and it had our ship name on it. That his real name isn't William, so I can't tell the actual ship name. But it was like that was the ship name for the rest of the time period we were together. Like, it was weird. I think I even I made my own solar system. Like, I made like the planet ship name, basically. And then I made my best friend Abby, who's still my best friend now, I made her like the little annoying moon that just like follows around the freaking planet. And then you have like another planet with it's because of another friend, and it was crazy. It was a really fun time. I mean, I would definitely probably redo it over, maybe parts of it, probably not all of it, but whatever. But yeah, so I know William's gonna watch this video, so hi, you're great, by the way. Alright, it's like, love you, bro. I already said that, whatever. Alright, so yeah. But that's the end of this video. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to The Randomness. That is my channel and my life. And turn on my post notifications, because that's what people are doing now. I have no clue. I hope you have a wonderful day, week, month, year of your life. And I love you all so much. Bye!